Welcome back to Tailor by Nature, where I discuss topics pertaining to nature or true nurturer. Today's topic of discussion is about the English language, which I guess by now many of us have realized that the Nower Webster Dictionary, which was, I guess, responsible for putting together the American English versus which is not in relation to the Queen's English or Old English or Middle English, but it's unique to America. And the reason why it's unique to America is because Noah Webster used several different native languages to put it together. And so many of us, so many of us look at it as something unique to America, and it was also used as a like lingua franca, which means like a trade language, which is fine for trade and such purposes, of course, as connecting people who don't speak the same dialect or speak the same language. And so, because of that, many of us don't think very deeply about the language itself. And the reason why I say that is because the language itself have been hijacked. And a lot of us don't realize they have been hijacked. Meaning, a lot of the words that we use, they pretty much went inside the language itself and create spells within the language. They create different spelling, just like the spelling of morning and morning. Just changing a vowel or a letter within the word gives it a different meaning. And those are the spells that's inside the English language that we have to contend to. And if we don't pay attention to those spells, it will definitely going to lead us astray. And that's what they have done. Since the 1920s, they have become, I guess, some kind of, psychological warfare where a lot of things prior to 1920 was, I guess, in its normalcy. And now today, as time, we see more and more psychological effect on the language itself, where they go in and change definition of things. And because we have, having an electronic system, it make it more easier to change those systems versus if a book or something, then it'd be a hard copy and they can't change it. But now everything is being moved into electronics or online where they could easily go in and manipulate because they create it. It's the same thing that goes along with Chat GTP and such platform where you have different platform as far as AI platform where ideology, where what they call artificial intelligence is actually artificial ideology, where they pump in this artificial ideology into a platform, into a so-called AI, and they use the AI to manipulate society. If you compare the different chat GTPs, they all give different answers. Why? Because different input, different ideology. So it's another way of confounding the languages, just like in the Babylon, where they confound the languages. They're doing the same thing today. But a lot of people, because they don't study the past and not realizing all they're doing is everything is in a cycle. And because we don't know the past, we could be victim of it. And victim mean we fall into the same trap our ancestors did. And if we don't have something or have something to look back at to see what happened back then we become victims. One of the things I always say, and I have learned over the years, is that the Bible itself, even though a lot of people don't subscribe to it as they did before, they have to realize it's an apocryphon. An apocryphon is hidden message that's going to be revealed within its time when it's required to be released. So the Bible itself is a sealed scroll, A lot of us read it in the English form, not knowing it's a complex cipher that has to be deciphered. You can't just read it and get the meaning from it. It has to be deciphered because it's a very complex cipher. And you have to uncomplicate it, look at the definition and look at the words and see what those stuff mean. To decipher it, that's the only way you could understand it or to comprehend it. I think I said the same thing happened with the so-called English language, where we are right now losing to ideologies, and we pick up on these things and we think that these things are real or relevant when they're not. And learning or looking back at the Aramaic, which was a language that was written for for a people, partly the Israelite people. It was written as an inheritance in regards to they will need this information in the future in order to guide themselves, in order to survive what's going on today. And on one way to do it is because the English we have in America, they use a Western Shemitic dialect, which is in comparison with the Aramaic, and they use the Shemitic root consonants within words. For example, the word hymn. The word hymn, within the word hymn is Shemitic consonants, which is H and M. In modern or in American English, the H is pronounced different than what it was when it pronounced before. Like I said, the change in meaning and sound shifting. So the ha sound, which is masculine, it went from ha to he in English, and the ma, as in ama sound, went from ma to m. So now we have m. And so, like I said, the sound shift, and when the sound shift, they change the meaning of the words. So when someone for instance, someone write the word him or the word he and the word him is actually feminized. Why? Because the masculine sound is ha. That's what the masculine sound is, ha. But when you pronounce him or he with the e sound, it makes it feminine. So they did the same thing to a lot of words in the Bible. They did it to the word Adam as well. So the word Adam, his name is Ada, which means he was a man, and he has a double, which was his wife. She was a duplicate of him, inverted duplicate of him, which means she was the opposite of him. And then you have her name was Ama, Ma, feminine. And so what they did, they put his name and her name together and say it's Adam. But their name, when the names are pronounced separately, is Ada wa Ama, which mean Adam or masculine and feminine, or male and female. So that's what the word mean. But if you read in English, the English join things together and create things that are blasphemous. So blasphemous words, blasphemous meaning, and so it becomes corrupt. And that's the whole point. The whole point is to corrupt people, to control people, and to lead people astray. And so you see, like example in the word him, you see how they have manipulated the word. So the English language, like I said, it was created here in the Americas. It was used for trade purposes, but over time they have hijacked the word, and now it's being used as a weapon, and it's being weaponized. It creates false meaning of things, false definition of things, and we are running with these definitions like these definitions are actually true definitions when they're actually not. And so that's The problem we have right now with the English language is that because it's an ideological language. It moved away from nature itself because it's the opposite of what it's because the language that it came from, this Western Semitic language, which wasn't the language they used to create it. That language was based on natural law. It was based on nature. It reflects nature. When they changed it into English, and then what they did, they add an ideology to it. And that's why we are warned in the Revelation 22, 18, 19, not to add to or take away. They add to the language their ideology. And those ideologies come in the form of feminism. It comes in the form of homosexuality. It comes in the form of bestiality. It comes in all these forms. So what they're doing, they're using something that was good and making it it was positive, they're making it negative. And so when people start adapting the English language, within the language is something that is not positive, and they're pushing those agendas in the language itself. So as you could see, like during the last election phase, we see a lot of countries that was paying these countries to do things where they want men to play in women's sports. They promote transitioning, which is females cut off their breasts, males cut off their genitalia. So that because, like I said, when you move from a natural world where everything functions, where everything is in balance, and you move to ideological world where everything is chaos and is based on feelings and emotion, all kind of things happen. And so that's where we are right now with the language itself, because it had progressed into something demonic, and it had progressed into an ideology. And as we know, ideology comes, ideology goes, and it seemed like the ideology that is promoting is getting worse and worse. So like I said, pretty much the reason why I got on here to say this is that the English language itself is the intent was a lingua franca. The intent was a bridge language. The intent was to create a connection between people that speak different dialects or different languages. So the intent was good, but someone took it and perverted it and create, like, it's a different false meaning and false ideology within it itself. And that's what's making it negative, or making it a not a positive language. Because right now, instead of doing good, it's promoting debauchery, and it's promoting something that's degrading, and it takes away from the human essence and from humanity itself. So hope you guys find, I guess, some interest or substance from this, what I've stated, and speak to you guys soon.